Good evening, everybody. How are we all this evening? We've got the lovely Mrs. W sat in the background there. We've got
That's
Missy, good evening. Michael, Stitch.
And sounds good.
Audio's okay, is it?
Yeah.
Thank you. For those that don't know, I've been having a few issues with the audio on the videos. I think I may have sussed what it is, but we'll see as the days go by. Bleach Demon, good evening. Well, we're trying out Wednesday night again, see how we go, see how I can stay awake. So I'm normally in bed or thinking of going to bed around 9:30 most nights. Stepper, good evening. How are you? Oh, look at that, 16 straight in. Whoosh. Well, yeah, as you probably gathered by now, no video yesterday. Andy, good evening, bro. I had one of my regular blood tests and I ended up having to have some more treatment while I was there. I did allow time for it. Lee, good evening, mate. But they did make some sizable holes. She said it was a large bore needle. It looked more like a fucking drain pipe to me, but whatever size it was, it got the stuff out quicker than usual, and yeah, it made me feel quite a bit knackered, shall I say. Rob, good afternoon. No, I start in the evenings now. Good evening, mate. Yeah, no worries, mate. Paulette, good evening, my dear. Hope you're well.
Can't keep up with typing all these names.
Just say good evening. No?
Sorry, I was busy typing. I can't multitask. Good evening, everyone.
Said she can't be bothered to type everybody's name. Karen, good evening. Yeah, we're all good here.
I'm just about to say I've got everybody, and then someone else drops in.
Yeah, because I walk round to the hospital as well when I go round for my treatment, and that normally wipes me out. But I was a little bit worse than normal when I got in yesterday, so I just sat and rested up rather than trying to rush around and do a video while my head wasn't straight. Not that it's ever been straight, but those of you that have noticed, and yes, I still got the old one or two ciggies going, but I'm almost there now. Jenny, good evening, darling.
Made all your hair fall out, though.
Yeah, made all my hair fall out. It was time for the spring shearing, shall we say. And because it's Wednesday, I forgot to shave today as well. Is it my eyes or is that bloody camera going in and out of focus? I think it's where I'm moving about all the time. Yeah, what else we got in here? Jen, Paulette, Lee. Nose in the background. Hi, guys. We're the all friendly lurkers or whatever. Welcome. As I say, we're just trying out Wednesday nights for a little while, see how it goes, rather than Friday.
Gives you 2 Saturdays.
Gives me 2 Saturdays, yeah. Might as well join in. Yeah, cheeky get shirt. How you doing, mate? But so far, it's been quite an interesting week. I mean, obviously, the big news today was Leo Duncanworthy, whatever his fucking name is, the Irish president, announcing that he was going to piss off. I think that caught everybody by surprise, including mainstream media, from what I saw. But he probably just wanted to enjoy his last St. Patrick's Day before he realised that the country's fucked, and he's stepping down out of it so he don't have to deal with the fallout.
He's retiring to the Bahamas.
Retiring to the Bahamas. Yeah, he's probably another one that's got a condo or a bloody great mansion in America somewhere. But, yeah, Lee, I'd almost got there. And we found another packet of tobacco that was lurking in the drawer. So, like an idiot, I opened it, not wanting to throw anything away or give anything away. And I just slowly whittling my way through it. Once that's gone, that'll
There
be
is
it.
no more now.
There is no
definitely
more
is
then.
no more.
Yeah, but they look like they're going to step on the vapes before long as well, Lee. Make it more and more difficult. They're already going to ban them in New Zealand, which I find quite strange because they repealed the smoking laws that Shergar put in place when she was Ayatollah over there.
There's no concrete proof yet, but an investigation into vaping has said it makes changes in the body similar to those caused by smoking and may also cause cancer.
Jason, good evening.
Keep your eyes out there, those of you that vape.
Yeah, the report I saw, they reckon it changes your DNA. I can't see that somehow. But basically, the amount of chemicals that everybody is putting into their body nowadays, even inadvertently, you don't know you're doing it. A lot of them can harm you,
I'm with you,
cause
Stuart.
cancer. I mean, they blamed smoking, wasn't it? Smoking was always the one that caused the cancer. Well, my father never smoked a fag in his life. My mum never used to smoke around him or indoors, neither did I. Yet he still died of cancer. I believe it was through some of the chemicals they were using in the sheep dip back then, because he was always the one in the pit, making sure they went under. And other people have suffered the same, that were doing the same job. So, Loafer, good evening. Petrol fumes. Well, everything we eat and drink now, some branch of the government will turn around and say it's bad for you. But yeah, I think Question Times today just pointed out how deluded Sunak is, old Roland. I mean, he's still relying on this Rwanda program of his. Well, as I've said before, from what I can see, it's nothing more than an exchange program, and it's just going to cost us a load of money. We're going to get rid of one and get another one in return. And it's going to be a piss in the ocean compared to the ones that are already here. And although it's not widely shown now, the ones that are still coming, with up to 400 a day coming in some days. Again, all assisted by Border Force, French Navy, RNLI. But to the extent that they've, as I said the other day, they put a no-fly zone for drones all around Dover. And by the looks of what's on the maps and the websites, it extends almost 3 miles either side of Dover and over a mile out to sea. And that covers all of Dover town as well, the docks, everything. So what they're trying to hide by doing that, your guess is as good as mine, but I know why. Most of you know why. They don't want things being seen that are happening. Although there is 1 or 2 videos that sneak out now and again. Yes, Andy. There are one or two, but they're only putting snippets up, and some of them are putting them up through other people's channels. Soul Rebel, good evening. But yeah, it's still happening. And then he stands up there today and says, we're stopping the boats. You know, they've made over 300 arrests of the smugglers, apparently. If that's the case, look, I've got written in my notes for tomorrow's video, well, how come they're still coming? You know, that's not even slowing them down. And with everything else going on, I think we're going to see more ending up in France waiting to get across. And I think the only way to stop them is shut off the benefits that they get while they're forthcoming. The free accommodation, the money, housing. Just tell them it ain't here. Phil, good evening, mate. Yeah, exactly, Jason. They're gaslighting us. Yeah, it'd be nice to see Tracy back, Andy. I mean, she used to do a bloody good job, but it's whether they'll let her down there to film now. And now they built the new reception centre, all literally covered. You can't see it. I think you can get some shots from up on the cliffs as long as you got some decent lenses, but yeah, it would be cheaper to fly them over, Loafer, than what they're doing now. Literally. But yeah, the Rwanda plan's back on the roundabout again now. So it's going to keep going round. It'll come off at the odd exit to have a bit of an inspection, and then it will be back in again. And all that's going to do is cost us more money on that, and more money to try and accommodate these people that are coming. Now, there is a big centre being constructed in Cardiff, I've seen today. Like little pods, rooms. To be honest, it looked like Container City. Now, they're saying that it's for the local homeless, but from what was being spoke about, it looks like it isn't. They might put one or two in there, but a majority of them, I think, will end up as immigrant accommodation or migrant accommodation, to put the proper name on it. They're not immigrants, they're actually migrants. Along with Scampton, there's work going on there. But it looks like the old tactics have started with security attacking the protesters at night. And what's in town? No idea, Jason. No idea, mate. Didn't even know he was, to be honest. I did have a bit of a kip this afternoon. But yeah, there's a lot they're coming out with that don't make sense. I mean, they posted all the new figures on the economy and inflation, and unfortunately, I think a lot of it is lying and covering up, because they pointed it towards the ONS. If you want to have a look, we know numbers have been fudged in there before on government orders. No, I didn't know that, Jason. Thank you. Yeah, so, you know, that used to be a trusted site for information, and I very rarely trust anything that comes out of there now. Plus, they make it more difficult to find anything. But yeah, that's what it looks like, Stuart. Most of them look like either twin, 2-bed or 4-bed. And they didn't look like single beds either, which was a bit strange. But there we go. Maybe they're going to accommodate the ones that come with family there. But, you know, I'm only assuming, and nobody knows for definite what's been happening, what's going to happen with that camp. or city, as it looks like. But it was openly filmed earlier today by Yorkshire Rose. They didn't have any issues walking around there. In fact, they had some good chats with the builders that were there. So, but yeah, it's the sort of homes they're going to expect normal people to live in at some point, because you can get more of them for the acre. Evening, Gary. Tony, good evening. Oh, pardon me.
Nope, can't.
What do you mean,
You-
Sean?
It's extremely rude.
I was looking for... Oh, there it is. I was going to say, I'm sure there used to be a clock on here somewhere to say how long I've been going, and there it is in red in the fucking corner. Yeah, good evening, Gary. Yeah, some of the buildings that people have done with them are quite nice, Andy. In fact, a good mate of mine back home on his small holding, he's built one out of, I think it's either 2 or 3 containers. And, you know, it uses them up, and it's got to be cheaper in the long run.
What about those couple of cottages they did down by Cumtiddy?
Yeah, they were containers, weren't
They
they?
were containers.
Yeah.
Don't know whether it was 1 or 2, but
Yes, I keep calling it IKEA, but from somewhere in, I think it's Sweden, they do this wooden modular housing where literally all the plumbing, wiring's all installed. They just come along, bolt it together like a giant shed on site, you know, up to 2 stories, connect each unit up, and away you go. You've got a nice warm house. How you'd go with the all wood construction on insurance and stuff like that and building regs here, I don't know, but people have got them here and have built them here. So, Meccano, yeah, that would rust, Gary. Mind you, if you look at the old type prefab homes, most of those are falling down now due to concrete cancer, which is basically rust in the steel reinforcing. I feel like no, I hate it, Loafer. I can't get my brain around just walking level and then coming out 5 floors above where you fucking started. And you can't go back, it's all downhill. So you have to go down the back.
I'd never make it round.
Yeah.
I did it once. I was on my knees.
Well, most people only go there for the meatballs, don't they?
I miss that bit.
But yes, Soul Rebel, the containers are quite large. You know, you can get different sizes, and they reckon there's thousands of them being sold for the same sort of usage. So why not? You know, if you've got someone that can do the work, I presume they're all waterproof. Some of the ones I've seen certainly aren't, but if you put cladding and that on the outside, you still got the chance of them rusting. You know, in between, but pardon me, and the front door's going to be a bit heavy. It's in a strange position. Yeah, you say that, Loafer. I mean, one of the Freeview channels did a whole bloody series on IKEA, didn't they? I didn't bother watching it. It was...
They did a series on the middle aisle.
Yeah, the middle aisle at Lidl's. Aldi, isn't it? Middle aisle.
Both.
But yeah, that's another thing. These issues, shall I say, that a lot of retail outlets seem to be having. But hey up, Dan. What's up? What I'll do is that one. Good evening, Brian. Yeah, Brian. We did a lot of the work around them years ago to replace them. You know, take the panels down, brick them up. You can brick over them, but you have to get a certain certificate before you can resell or whatever with them now. It's years after I left the building trade, they brought that in. So I actually looked at buying one in Bristol many years ago. And I don't know, it'd been bricked up, been extended. But I saw the way it had been bricked up and what have you. So walk away from that. Good evening, Resist. Good evening, your chunkiness.
Good evening, everybody. Just for a few minutes, I thought I'd jump on and say hello.
Yeah, I thought you might want to.
Can you
That's
hear
why
me?
I put the link in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bit of
it's all
lag.
right. The signal's terrible here. Signal is absolutely awful here, so I apologise for that.
No
Hello,
worries.
everybody in the chat. Nice to see you all.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, Mrs. W. I hope you're okay.
Good, thank you. Likewise to you.
Yeah,
good. Getting there slowly.
So I thought you might want to drop up for a minute because I knew you were on your phone somewhere. So
yeah, just for a few minutes. I have to go back in. So, how you been?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I was absolutely shocked yesterday. They took a bit more blood than usual because it got quite thick because it had been a while. And the fucking needle they put into me, man, was like a bloody drain pipe. It was huge.
Yeah.
They took more out yesterday in half the time than they normally do. It came out of that thick a tube.
Oh, Christ.
They're all saying good evening.
Good evening, everybody. I've just seen you've only been on for 23 minutes?
Yeah.
I thought you was coming.
Go on.
Sorry, there is a bit of a lag. I do apologise for that.
That's all right, mate. No, that's why I said I saw your name come up in there, and I knew you wouldn't be up for long. So I thought, well, if I bang the link up and you want to jump up, you can.
Right. Well, just hi, Missy Moon. I'm looking at the comments now quickly. Hi, Missy Moon. Hi, Lothar. Hi, Stuart. Hi, Paulette. Hi, Resist. Stepper, Gary. Good to see you all. Brian. And anybody, Soul Rebel, and anybody that I've missed, I apologise. While there's a few people on here, I'll just say quickly. I had a family emergency on Saturday, which means that I'm going to be away from YouTube for a little while. I will still try and get some videos up. It's not ideal timing, but it's nothing that I can ignore. It's something that I have to deal with. But it is quite a major family emergency that needs dealing with. So normal service will resume as soon as possible, but it's not going to be for at least a couple of weeks, I'm afraid. So I apologise in advance to everybody for that. As I say, it's bad timing, but it's something that I've got to do.
It's a shame because you were just getting into the swing of it again as well.
Just getting back to it, yeah, exactly. Just getting back into it. So yeah. One of them things, isn't it? These things are sent to test us, as they say.
We always say, no matter what, if you got family, then family's always got to come first.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I'd
Um,
certainly put our family above anything else.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was out of the blue, guys. And that's why, obviously, Sunday. Everyone was expecting something on Sunday, but this, this completely out of the blue. And as I say, it's not something that could have waited. It's something that I had to act on straight away, which has taken me away from the computer. So I've literally only got my phone at the moment, and I can't do my videos on here just yet. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail on here. If no offense, Roger. Obviously, Roger knows, because Roger's one of my closest friends, so Roger knows what's going on. But I don't really want to go into it on here while I'm not able to potentially answer questions or deal with comments. So,
well, actually, that's got me out of a sticky situation, because people have been saying, "What's up? What's up?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I know. I can't tell you. It's a personal thing."
Yeah,
but yeah,
as I say, if it was something that I knew was going to happen, I'd have had time to explain. I'd have had time to explain if it was something I knew was going to happen. But
yeah,
sometimes things just jump out of nowhere, don't they?
Well, I'll leave it up to you when you come back. Then everybody knows now. You can explain what's happened and what have you. But obviously, it's still an ongoing situation as well, isn't it? So
yes, at the moment, yeah.
So,
but no, I will let people, once I know what's happening properly. I will let everybody know properly on, that watches the channel.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go any more into it now, but I will let people know what's happening. But thank you to the people that have asked after me, and I apologise for just disappearing again. It seems to be a habit with me now, doesn't it?
Well, you know what our lot are like. I mean, even today I've had messages and a couple of emails as well. Oh, we were a bit worried because you didn't do a video yesterday, and I thought,
yeah,
well, yeah, I did say there was a possibility that I wouldn't do one, but I wasn't going to do a video saying that I'm not doing a video because I was just too knackered to even do that.
Might as well just do a video if you're going to do. I mean, that's a stupid thing about me. I used to do videos and say, "Sorry, there's going to be no video today."
Yeah.
But it's one of them things. You just feel like you're letting people down, don't you?
Yeah, in a way. And obviously, I'm usually sat over this side of the room anyway. But it did give me a bit more time without too many distractions, and I was answering messages as they came through, but that was about it. A bit of fuckery on Facebook. But
Gary was worried. Gary was worried the hair had overtaken me. Like, it'd be like one of them. You get an alien in here, and it starts taking over your body, doesn't it? Yeah. No, nothing extravagant.
He's gaining it at the same rate I'm losing it.
Yeah, it's grown. It's grown really well, to be honest. It's grown really well. But yeah,
you'll be able to get it brush it to one side and to a bit like the old work.
Oh, it is. It's over to one side at the moment. So yeah, I'll have curtains soon. I'll be back in the 80s. All right, listen, I'm gonna have to run. I saw you was on. I wanted to jump on just to say hello, and but I am gonna have to go, I'm afraid. So I will be. You'll hear from me. You'll all hear from me soon. I promise you. So enjoy your evening. Yeah, Andrew, Roger, enjoy your evening.
I will. You take care.
All right, guys. See you later. See you later, Heather. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Gary, mine looks like Gorbachev. It'd be nice to have enough to do the old cigar. What was it? Not Castello. Hamlet. The old Hamlet comb over man. Just grow a couple of wisps on one side.
But when it sticks out.
Yeah, but when it's this colour, it's almost see-through anyway with the light. But yeah, Dan's is growing quite well there. And it does show it up more where he's shaved the sides a bit closer, but Dan the man. Yeah. Well, we can't call him the Grippy Hands Action Man anymore, can we? They did they do one with long hair? No, I don't think they did.
That was Ken, wasn't it?
Don't mention Ken. Benjamin Button hair. Now, let me. Don't need that up there now. Keep that off. But yeah, that was nice of Dan to pop in there. I did know what was up, as he says, but obviously at the moment it's still confidential is the word I was looking for. Right, I'm the lucky one. My family with only one. The only one with hair. Well, I did have quite a lot of hair at one point, Stuart. My beard, it was down here somewhere. And now here, my hair was about the same length behind. You know, I brushed my hair around the front, and from there up, I looked like a fucking Wookiee. Oh, hell, Dan LaRocca. 18-2 for one on Wednesday. Yeah, funny enough, my dad had a full head of hair when he died, Stuart. And he was actually the same age as I am now when he died. My brother's going bald, though. Well, worse than me, from what I've seen. But again, he always had thick hair up until a few years ago. I started losing mine quite early. And I was starting to go grey in my 20s and 30s as well. It's
Stuart, if your dad was bald,
fair enough, Gary.
If your dad wasn't, if everybody in the family, including your dad, were bald, did the milkman have hair? Got there in the end. No to beat me to it. So he's quick at typing.
That's not very nice, Moo. But yeah, I was going grey quite early. Mind you, my dad was the same. He went grey early. And my uncle, thinking about it. Yeah. What we got? Oh, that fucking the chippy that got told by his council to cover up the Union Jack on the wall that was in on a mural. How fucking ridiculous. You know, all the council buildings used to have them outside. Royal residence. Boats still have it on the ensign. I believe the army still carries it, but the public can't. And there's still police that wear it on their uniform, but we can't. Yeah, right. I mean, I've got mine on the wall, and as I said in the video today, I've got a couple of small ones in the front window, and people are welcome to take offence to it. I don't give a flying fuck, but they're mine. It's my country, and they're staying up. You know, everybody else can fly their national flag and chant whatever they fucking want. I can't put Union Jack up. Yeah, fuck off. Rosemary always good. Hair growth, ladies. Yeah, I wouldn't want to smell too much of it, Missy. Union flag, yeah. I mean, it sounds as if someone's going to be putting on or trying to put on a big St. George's Day parade in London. Whether that's just something somebody's started and is snowballing. I don't know. I haven't heard anything official of one being put on there. Rosemary's only for lamb and roast potatoes. Fair enough, Gary. Personally, I just have gravy on mine. I know some fractions of society prefer them still with the wool on, but that's something else, isn't it? Yes, Gary, it is. It is. I could make mine look darker with boot polish, but you know, then I'd probably get arrested for going round imitating a blackface. You know what I mean? So, guys, I'm trying to concentrate on the chat a bit tonight. I don't, when I'm chatting away, I don't often get a chance to see what's actually being said there. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Boy, there's a few of you ladies in here. Heather's thinking of doing a stream at some point. Initially just for the girls.
No, based for the girls.
Right.
Based around the girls. But the boys can come and talk frocks and silly shit if they want to. Because Moo said he wanted to.
Oh, well, yeah, I'd expect that from Moo. Probably Gary
you know how
as
big
well.
A girl Moo is, so he asked if he could come and join us, but
I haven't seen Lost Souls tonight either. Mind you, I haven't heard from her all day today, so she may be lurking in the background listening if she's at home.
who was that, love?
Holly, Lost Souls.
My problem is, what do I do if I did a live? What would I talk about? I don't want to talk about the same as Roger or Dan or.
Well, this is why I'm throwing it out there to the girls.
I want some ideas, guys.
You know, she's looking for ideas on what topics you girls could cover, what you could talk about. Carrie, just be yourself.
Even if it's only the best place to go for bottomless brunch.
Yeah, that's sure. There's a lot of it going on here now. Now that has happened with that chippy, that there's people putting them up everywhere, and rightly so. You know, we need pride in this country. We've got it, and we need the others to have the same and feel the same. You know.
See what I did there?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in London on the 23rd. I'd like to think that it's being organised properly and they're getting permission, because that means technically they can shut the others down. Yes, you'll still have Antifa and shit like that about, I expect. And you will have the dickheads that want to get drunk and just go for a fight. But
I can get very passionate about a lot of things, Gary, but it's whether other people would find that interesting, which is why I'm looking for some ideas.
Yeah, Stuart. It looks like it's gonna, as I said today, it's gonna all change to the south of you. But I still reckon that he wanted to enjoy his little bit of power just for the last St. Patrick's Day, and but it was quite a surprise that there was no hints of it anywhere. I hadn't heard any whispers of it, and as you know, I've got relatives over there. I didn't think the courts operate on St. George's Day, Paulette. I might be wrong, but that would be very poignant if they did, wouldn't it?
That's the whole argument about St George's Day. It's not a public holiday. It should be a public holiday in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every other country has their patron saint as a holiday, but if it's a weekday, and I haven't checked, but if Tommy's in court, then it's a weekday. It's a normal working day.
Patriot, good evening.
See, I can get paid passionate about my bloody birthday.
Oh, they're already kicking off resist. In fact, they're doing more about their migrant situation than we are. But there again, they've got quite a big problem with it. You know, when they're putting students in tents to accommodate them and people getting turfed out their accommodation for them, yeah, it's just wrong. I mean, some of what their PM said in his leaving speech, he said, we've cured this, we've cured that. No, they didn't. They had it good there for a few years before it all kicked off. But, yeah, it's gone ridiculous now. It's more like a, police state, you know, spot checks on the road with armed police and all sorts of bollocks.
Oh, yeah, I could do that now. Will you come on and ask the questions? Just you and me, one-to-one? Is that what you were thinking? Do you want to go live so that we can answer questions on the... Or do you want to do it as a pre-recorded thing? But yeah, I can do that.
I got some questions I could ask around that, but they're not for for open panels, put it that way.
How to put the world to rights, what we would do if we were in power? My grandson wanted to be a pilot, and I'm sure he would have loved it, but they don't think he's quite bright enough. He's a very intelligent lad, but so he's going for train driving now.
Yeah, I used to fly my model ones, Gary. Usually only the once, but I used to fly them.
Unfortunately, that's the only thing I talk about, because it's all I've done for too many years is raise kids, grandkids, cook, clean and work.
Now she's got to do the same for me. Yeah, everybody does. They get more than us, Stuart.
I think St Andrew's Day is a holiday in Scotland, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Everywhere else does it, but England doesn't. We're not proud of George.
It'd be interesting what the government and the police do around Armistice Day this year. And Remembrance Sunday. You've got that to go yet.
They'll probably cancel it again.
Whether that's before or after a general election. as Sunak let slip in the House today that the election will be in the second half of this year, but that was all he did say. Some are pointing the finger at the autumn, which would put it around November time. But I think they're going to try and bring in a load of bullshit now just to try and gain votes and try and claw some of the support back. And if it doesn't come, I think they'll call it. There are local elections between now and then as well. But then, like I said in the video today, you got Khan kicking up about having to produce ID to vote. Why is he against it? You know, as I pointed out, is it because it will stop a lot of the fraudulent votes? Obviously, there'll still be a few fraudulent postal votes. You'll never stop that. And the other thing I'm going to look closely at, because I will be voting in this next one, is are there any corresponding numbers on the voting forms, voting slips? Because if the numbers are different on each one, and they've connected that to your name, that is a huge data collection exercise, isn't it? Seeing which way you vote. Think of that one. But that's something I will be looking out for.
Go together so we compare notes.
Yes, sure. I think they'll do it just before we need the heating back on, and at which point they'll say, oh, we're this, that, and the other. Yeah, we're back in. Oh, now we'll put the energy bills back up again, put the cap up. They'll promise the earth beforehand.
Thank you, Sitch. We've now got 4 subscribers. Woohoo! 4 subscribers. Look at me go.
Sadly, one of them isn't me.
You were my only sub. Have you unsubbed?
No. Of course I haven't. I damn. They do the numbers on the
excellent. Thank you, guys.
top right, which is tied to your name. Yeah, I'm just going to be interested and look at the numbers. Obviously, Heather will be voting alongside me, so I can make a note of the numbers on the top. Just click on her name, Gary.
I'll keep posting it.
Oh,
It's not a
there
problem.
there you go. Oh, okay, of course, yeah, you got a spanner. You can do that, can't you? I forgot.
I'll keep posting it. Not a problem.
Oh dear. See, I'm still working out how a lot of this shit works.
See if I can get to 556.
yeah, outdo me. Now all you got to do is put some content out and do some videos.
Yeah, but there's no point putting content out if you've got no nothing to subscribers. 8 now.
Yeah, there you go. See? Do you know how long it took me to get to 8?
Well, you didn't have such a good following.
No, they all come from Dan. But to me, that's quite nice because, you know, my community is obviously a little bit quieter than Dan's, and the content of our videos are very much different usually. That's one of the reasons I stay away from the police reports, because he does a far better job of those than I ever could.
11,
yeah, I know, Gary.
11 and growing.
Fucking hell.
That's not bad.
Oh, there'll be no stopping her now. She'll be YouTube famous in 10 minutes. Oh, fucking hell.
You've We've got 42 watching, of which 10 have subscribed. 12,
Well,
11 have
there you-
subscribed to me because I'm now on 12. Oh, such devotion is wonderful.
Yeah, I'm going to have to teach you how to do videos now, aren't I?
Yep.
This is her in the kitchen. Mind you, she's always, when I do post, there wasn't a lot to report last year on the holiday videos. She does star in those quite prominently. Usually because she catches more fucking fish than me, but
Well, that's strange because every time you think you've got a fish on, I pick my phone up and I record. Every time I think I've got a fish on, you stand there telling me what to do. You don't record it.
I'll have to start putting the GoPro on when I my chest rig. But yeah, I am going to vote this year. Literally to just take the vote away from somebody else, basically. Yeah, Gary, we do enjoy the sea fishing.
Definitely Loafer. and wonderful, helpful things like faster. No, faster. No, fast. I'm going as fast as I fucking can. It might not be fast enough for you, but it's as fast as my little arm will go. I've got something heavy on the end of it. And then it turns out to be
weed.
bloody seaweed.
Weed. But again, it's something to do. It's out in the fresh air, usually in a pissing rain and howling wind, but it gets you out,
Do you know, I think my first fish was my biggest.
No, your ray was bigger than that. Economy mode, thermostat radiator valves, number 3. Got that. I turn ours up and down as I get cold, Loafer. I have to keep fairly warm because of my circulation. It's a bit of a pain. And trouble is, when I get too warm, I just suffer.
What degree is economy mode Loafer? Is that about 18 or 20?
After this, I'm binge watching.
There you are. I'll interview Loafer as well, and he can give me all the plumbing tips.
Yes, she's got nothing on her channel yet, Patrick.
I've got nothing yet.
I did do a load of filming last year while we were fishing, but there was nothing of interest on there. So I didn't bother putting a video together because there's hours and hours of footage, which might get maybe a couple of minutes out of. And it takes a long time to go through it.
But I will post something up now. I've got somebody to post to.
Yeah. I mean, you've got holiday videos. I've got a load here. I can transfer over to you if you want to go through them and put some together. Pick out some of the funniest bits and over 8 hours of driving up and down the motorway. Because I always have the one of my cameras going in the car as a dash cam. That's actually how I caught my little bump on the motorway on the way back last time, where I had the misfortune of running into the back of a 4x4 with a tow bar on because I was rubbernecking at a fire along the side of the motorway. But an inch and a half ball size fucking dent in the plastic bumper, but it didn't set the airbags off. And those of you that saw the video saw it was quite amicable. There was no damage to his. He was more worried about the damage to ours. And we just shook hands and went on our way. There was no need to report it, no need for insurance or anything. So. Yeah, I have trouble with people just using a few letters for words, Gary. all these abbreviations to things. Half of them I don't get. Right, I'll let you guys chat in the chat there for a sec. I'll just get another drink. Oh.
Makes a change. You didn't ask me to go and get him one.
Well, I'll be coming straight back. So I know you've got to move your table and everything.
Yeah, I know. I get over there. I say hello. Who's out there? And by the time I've got somebody talking to me, you're back.
Exactly.
So I ain't moving.
Exactly. No point. But, oh. Now I am still a little bit tired today, so but we'll see how long I last. Not long if that's anything to go by. But use the timer settings. We've still got our timer set though for when we used to be at work during the day.
It was set. It doesn't come on during the day. It just sort of comes on for the evening, and then goes off before we go to bed. Before I go to bed.
If I need any extra during the day, we've got the gas fire over there that can be used just to top up, which the cat loves because she likes sitting in front of that when it's on. But we won't get a heat pump here simply because we're council. I mean, be lucky if they can afford to maintain what we fucking got now, let alone fit anything new. But on saying that, we got the gas inspection, 28th, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not here.
They do come down round regular, obviously for the safety certificate.
I'm having my nails done for the wedding.
Well, that's all right. Oh yeah, we got that at the end of the month, haven't we?
Yeah.
Wedding. Oh
Saturday.
God, suit and tie. Fortnight Saturday. Oh. But yeah, going back to the, sorry, I was wandering away on the conversation there. Going back to the flags. You know, why is YouTube blacked out all the flags? Is it because they think people are going to use them to insult people? Okay. Yeah, possibly I can see that, but you know, why ban all the flags? Meter only, but still want to charge me £1,000 if I'm busy. Yeah, this is what I said, Gary. They said they've lowered the cap on the energy price. Yes, they did a bit, but most people's bills were nowhere near to the level that those caps would entwine like. So they still have space even now to be able to put them up a bit. Well, the thing is, they can't just ban the actual flag resist because it is a country's flag. But what they can do is ban the ones with the slogans on. Oh, look, everybody can post flags now. Yeah, rainbow ones are fine. Yeah, of course they are. Funny, isn't it? Same as the unicorns. But yeah, unless it's how it's used. I mean, this is what they were using against the Union flag because people were being told they were waving it as an insult. Well, yes, in that situation, I thought the Palestinian flag was an insult with the way it was being waved and chanted under by the protesters. Yeah, well, that one just comes out black, Paulette. It's indistinguishable what that is.
Oh, Missy, it'll be all over Facebook anyway. But
Yeah,
yes.
along with pictures of me in the suit, I expect. It is resist. It's not the world I envisage me living my days out in, but I always said it's like living in one of the sci-fi movies I used to watch as a kid or when I was younger. And now they've confirmed that I am. Good evening, Jack. With the new 50p coin, haven't they? They did the characters from Star Wars a little while back, and now they're going into the transport with the new one of the Millennium Falcon on the 50p. They're going to cost you 12 quid to buy, mind, at the moment, but they are planning another full set of 4, all told. It's the Millennium Falcon, a TIE Fighter, an X-Wing, and funny enough, the Death Star are ones that are coming out after this one. Probably all costing about 12 quid each. But apparently they are legal tender. So we've now got galactic coinage. You know what, we're going to have ET on the £2 coin next. Klingons on the pound coin. Rather than the starboard bow, for those that remember the record. Yeah, well, Star Wars was after my youth, really, if I'm honest. I go back to some of the real old ones, the original Planet of the Apes, Soylent Green, Logan's Run. There's some that are worth a lot more than that, Loafer. Usually the ones that are misstamped or something's gone awry in the stamping and it's stamped something else that then they've sneaked through quality control and got into general circulation. Some of them can be worth quite a bit.
I've got an old £2 coin, commemorative one, that's now worth £1.50.
Transformers as well after my time, Gary. Well, I always said I was a Jedi Buddhist. What was it? Jedi Buddhist druid, wasn't it? That's what I put on the hospital form. And that didn't go down too well. But yeah, you know, I did watch the original Star Wars ones, but once the too much CGI started coming in, I gave up. I said, yeah, Jason. I think a lot of people are realising that now, but you know they've gone too far down the road with it that they won't backstep a bit. But yeah, diversity was supposed to help the country, and it's done more destroying it than helping it build, and that's being seen now. Yeah, a lot of the toys are worth a hell of a lot of money, Gary, to collectors. Well, all toys are. I mean, there was some that I had as a kid. God knows where some of them ended up, but I know some were in my mother's loft. And me and my brother weren't allowed to have anything out of the house whatsoever. So they were gone. But there was even some of the first mechanical toys. Well, I say mechanical. I called it a computer controlled car, but it was a battery operated car that you fed a strip of cardboard in that you'd cut pieces out to make it turn left, right, go straight, reverse. So it's like a self-programmable car. It would only do what you cut into this piece of cardboard. I suppose early form of programming, you'd call it, but more a mechanical thing. I hated Lego, Gary. But this is the thing, I was never brought up with computers and computer games and gaming and shit like that.
Good
Well, that's
evening.
easily recognisable one. Good evening, Loafer. But yeah, computers for me up until the last couple of 3 years, or a bit longer than that, if I'm honest, have always been an alien device to me. They're just something I used to see in sci-fi movies.
Have you seen price of Lego?
I know it's the youngest grandson. He's absolutely fanatical about it.
Little lad's got loads of Lego. Mrs. keeps sending me up to the loft every few years. He's not played with this for a bit. Go and get this box and make sure the destructions are in it and all. And she counts all the bricks. And if he loses a brick or puts a brick in the wrong pile, she goes apoplectic, because basically, when he stopped playing with it for a lot, when he's into girls and beer and cars eventually, you see, what we'll do is we'll package it all up and flog it on the internet. But have you noticed that eBay have been clamping down on people actually doing regular sales because they think they're actually running a business, and now they want to know whether they're running a business because the HMRC think that they might be running a business, and therefore they won't be able to sell anything more on eBay because they think they're running it. I mean, you're taxed on it when you buy it, and if you want to flog it on because your little lad's not playing with it anymore, they want to bloody well tax you.
This is one of the reasons they want to look into everybody's bank accounts so they can see if they're making any extra money they can grab any bit of tax from.
You know, around about 10 years ago, might have been longer than that, might have been around about 2008, 2009, a bit longer than 10 years ago, there were people going around pinching drain covers for heavy iron and stuff like that, and weighing them in at the scrapyards. Last time people went around insisting that you give up your railings in front of your house is when they needed them for World War II, for ordnance and stuff. But people were struggling, so they were going around nicking out drain manhole covers and stuff like that. So now I'm a plumber. Used to be able to be a plumber's perk. Just before Christmas, never go away your scrap copper and your brassen just before Christmas, because the scrap yards know all plumbers are going to come, so prices drop. They anticipated increasing supply, because everybody's going weighing the old taps and radiator valves in and scrap copper. They anticipate an increase on the supply, so they bring the prices down. So I never weigh my scrap before Christmas. Now,
we used to do it with the lead from the roofing.
Oh, yeah, night repair of church roofs. That what my granddad did.
Well, you can imagine the amount of lead we used to get stripping roofs and offcuts.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to take tons of it in, but again, we used to do it a little bit before Christmas, or we'd wait till after and then give it as a New Year bonus as the prices start to creep back up.
Lead's not good. Copper and brass best prices on scrap. So now it used to be a plumber's perk. So now there's no cash for scrap anymore. You've got to actually pay into a bank account. So I have to declare it on my yearly accounts as income.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you're talking about cash, like I said, with this computer outage that a lot of retail outlets are suffering now.
Greg's went down earlier this morning.
Yeah. Basically, there's theories going around, it's to do with the cashless society and people are trying to show what will happen. But in the last week or so, there's been a hell of a lot of upgrades on the internet. Now, because they're all suffering more or less the same problem, I think it's something to do with the upgrades on the internet with Windows and what have you. Because I've had 4 of them this weekend, just gone. The laptop the other day had bloody loads on, didn't it?
Yeah.
and it seems the retail sector are the ones that are suffering from it. So whether it's an update that they've had to do, or
I also think the possibility is payroll software will always gets an update about this time of year for the year end and upcoming tax and national insurance changes for next year from April 6th. And that update is always about now because people want to get their year ends done. And a lot of them, it won't let you carry on until you complete it. And only authorised people can complete the update. And then it needs a restart. So if that's linked to their sales software, because most of their packages they're interlinked, it could have been something like the wages, the NI change has buggered up their software.
well, you got the HMRC changing a lot of things at the moment anyway in there. There's I don't know whether it's new codes or something. There's something going on about a big rebate as well. Good evening, Jack, by the way.
You all right?
How are you, young man?
I'm all right, thanks. I just came on because I wanted to just what's the word? Just point out something that you just talking about. I noticed something as well. With the new updates on Windows. Now I have Windows 11, not Windows 10. Because when is it? I think it's sometime this year or sometime next year. Windows 10 will be ending their lifetime support, or basically it's like ending their support for updates. Yeah, so they'll only push out security updates now and again. But once a threshold's been reached, they will stop updates and they won't update it anymore.
Yeah, they're on about instead of issuing them all the time like they've been doing,
they'll do it now and again.
Once everybody goes under, they were going to still give a bit of support, but you'd only get updates maybe twice a year.
Yeah,
just to keep the system running.
Yeah,
but it still work. Just
the security updates. The security updates is the only things you will get. You won't get any feature updates because they won't be working on it anymore.
Well, they're looking at bypassing 11 now and going straight to 12 because there's so many bugs in it.
Well, I mean, it has certainly got a lot better than what it was when it first released, but it's not what I expected. When I first got it, Windows 11, it wasn't nearly as good. There was just so many issues with it. And I'm just thinking, I'm not what and at the time they had all these different things that you need, like these different parameters or requirements that you needed to have in order for your computer to be able to run Windows 11. You needed to have a certain module on your CPU. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's not really a tech channel. It's more of a, but
well, I was just going to ask Brian there. He's just put in the chat about one of them. Is that the one, Brian, where the fix that they issue that there isn't enough space on the computer or something to actually install that fix, so it can't be fixed? I remember seeing that somewhere.
Why is it that computers don't have as much storage memory capacity anymore, and you've got to upload to the cloud? Either that, or you have to go out and buy external hard drives to put all your important documents.
Are you talking about storage space?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll explain this as little as I can without going into all the gory details, all the technical side of things. But effectively, Windows, Mac, OS X, and Linux index, or they look at your storage devices and they see them differently. So Mac and Windows will index your storage devices in a certain way. So when you, for example, when you look at one of your drives, it will show up the size of the disk, and then it will also show up in bytes, as opposed to gigabytes or terabytes or megabytes. It will show up as bytes. Now, it's all to do with binary, zeros and ones and stuff like that. But effectively, a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes, right? But the way that Windows and Mac OS works it out is it's 1024, right? So if you was to have a terabyte, for example, it's not going to give you a terabyte in Windows or Mac OS. In Linux, it will. In Linux, it will. That's the difference with Linux. But in Mac OS or Windows, you might get, I don't know exactly how much, but you might get about 900, maybe 850. I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely nowhere near what you. So you are paying for a terabyte, but you're not getting it in Windows or Mac OS. It's just the way that it is.
So basically, if I've got external, what have I got? I've got 3 external 4 terabytes devices. Every single document that I do not want to lose is actually duplicated, and everything is every so often I'll plug it into my PC to make sure that it's still working okay. And if it's getting a bit glitchy or making clicking noises, then I'll go out and buy another one just in case, because I had to jump from Windows XP to Windows 11, and it took me about 3 months before I realized that app is the new word for program. They even changed the language with regards to how you actually use your computer. Now, I lost every single audio book, all my pictures, my family pictures, everything, because I didn't back anything up. So when I made that jump from XP to Windows 11, I made sure I sent off a couple of 4 terabyte external drives to my brother, and he sent me back all the family pictures that had gone, all the ones that he'd actually scanned and digitalized. He sent me back all the music that I was into, because he used to come round and borrow me CDs and copy them. And also, he sent me back a load of music that I hadn't listened to, so I even got even more music than I had before. So essentially, I had to jump through increasingly smaller hoops, learn a new bloody language, just to retrieve all those things that I needed. Now, it happened almost around about 3 or 4 months towards the end of the financial year, and I didn't back up any of my accounts. So I was absolutely bricking it. So I had to actually make sure that I had everything backed up. So now, routinely, at the end of every calendar month, I actually print off all of the documents and store them old-fashioned in an A4 file in a plastic wallet, just in case the shit hits the fan. I can go to my accountant and say, there you go, mate, go through that lot. Everything is increasing. Like I said, I don't even know how to file Word documents on this and easily access them. And I've had this new PC now for about a year. So why are they constantly reinventing the wheel and making things increasingly more complicated, and then telling you that there's increasingly more glitches and you've got to keep updating all the bloody time?
One word, very, very simple. And you don't have to be, you don't need to be, you don't need to be you could be dumb as out and you still know the answer. Money. That's what they want. Money.
Well, thank you very much. I was leading you to that, obviously.
You know where it's leading?
You know what I'm like. I'll set them up, you them down. Money.
Power, corruption,
Gary
money,
put it
control.
in the chat. Absolutely bang on there. When you put something up into the cloud, you are literally putting it into somebody else's or some company's computer.
Just
that's why I don't do that. I've never done cloud.
If anybody thinks they're not mining data from that, they're too naive to even own a computer.
I mean, data mining is business, isn't it? I mean, you've got your big, massive multinational corporations like Google, and if you click cookies, they've got that information. Now, it's just curious to me why I keep getting phone calls and recognize numbers of people, and I'm getting emails into my junk filter, and basically, it's people trying to sell me something. Happened about 10 years ago. I was typing out an invoice, and I just put in 5 times 18100 SF. And that's 5 times. I think I've got one. I've got one here. I took a picture of one of these the other day for one of my customers. Took a picture of one of them. That's what it is. What it used to be, it's Screwfix catalog. 18100 used to be a pack of 10 ball fix isolation valves. So I just bunged that into a Word document, attached it to my Hotmail account. Don't laugh. Yes, I've still got a Hotmail account, and invoiced one of my customers. And then I logged off my Hotmail and I jumped up onto another platform like YouTube or something like that. And the first ad that came up in the top right-hand corner of my screen was pack of 10, 15mm ball fix isolation valves. I'm thinking
that's crazy, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, you don't even have to put it into the computer. Even the spoken word.
Yeah, you could just be having a regular conversation with someone, and you could mention it, and even though you're not directly like, because the thing is as well, I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't have to say that you guys are stupid because you're not, but you obviously know that your microphone is constantly going in the back, like your microphone's constantly going, your camera's constantly
Oh
going.
yeah.
All this information is being constantly relayed to these companies, and they're knowing exactly what you're saying all the time. Now,
Yeah.
you see, with my microphone, I have a feature on my microphone to disable it without having to go into the Windows settings to disable it that way. I can
Yours has got an off
mute
button.
it,
It's simple. You just turn it off and unplug it.
or you could just unplug it. There you go. But
No, I've done it several times. Not when I've been doing anything on the computer, but everything's turned on.
yeah,
And when me and Heather are having a conversation or we're talking about the TV, I'll throw in something totally irrelevant. And straight away, I'll get adverts up coming up on Facebook and what have you for this particular thing.
yeah.
Or all of a sudden, if I've mentioned the subject, they'll start pushing that in my feed on YouTube as well. It's yes, Missy, you can get around a lot of things with a VPN, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of messing about. And if they want to find you, they're still going to bloody find you with what they've
Do you
got
know what?
out
Actually,
there now.
VPNs, they're not okay. So with VPNs, because I haven't really been into that kind of whole thing, but VPNs aren't exactly. They are. They are a. It's not necessarily a solution, but it's like, I mean, VPNs the sort of thing. They said they talk about it all over the internet: privacy, hiding your identity, masking your IP address. Which theoretically, it just means
Yeah.
it just pretends you're in a different location with a different IP address. So if
So
they was to look it up, it'd show up in that area, say in the Netherlands or wherever, as opposed to your actual location.
it's the same as wearing a mask. If you're wearing a mask, you've obviously got something to hide.
Yeah. Now
You know?
I don't particularly see. I mean, personally, I mean, I've only ever used free ones, right? Because there's, for example, there's like, I don't know, if I want to watch a TV show on Netflix, for example,
Oh yeah, there's
right?
loads of them out there.
Certain Netflix or certain shows may not be on that in your region, so you have to use a VPN in order to access other shows that aren't in your region. Obviously, they might have English subtitles or whatever the case is. That's the only reason I use it. But I'm not scared of my privacy because that I have nothing to hide.
Exactly. And I said
And
that when I started up, I used my own name. I put my face on the camera. I don't hide behind anything. You know.
thing is,
and-
though, it's so easy for people to be doxxed nowadays.
oh yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
easy. I mean, if you don't put your name out there, because not everyone's going to put their full name. I mean, not necessarily their address, because that's a little bit too far. But if you know, they're not going to necessarily put the name out there. Although it doesn't mean you're hiding, because there's a ton of people on the internet that don't put their full name out on the
Oh,
internet.
absolutely, absolutely.
Which is not necessarily as wrong. Obviously, those that do.
It depends what you're doing out there.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get the ones that go on there, like the disruptors from the WEF and that. Well, they're never ever going to use their real name
No, yeah.
because they don't want them identified. But
The correct.
I've always said if you're doing something like I do, the
Yeah.
least I can do is put my face there. I'm being honest, or as honest as I know I am. If I'm wrong about something, people are always welcome to point it out. And if they're right and they're proved right, I'll retract whatever I said. But other than that, everything I say stands, and I'll stand behind it every time.
Yeah. Which
You
is
know, I'll say when I'm making
good.
a prediction, but it's just my opinion. It's not a proven date or number. You know, because you can't, with what's going on at the moment around the world, you can't put absolute certain facts on there because so many people check them.
Yeah, I mean, this is why. I mean, for you, for example, and Dan, and that's why whenever you say something, and I'm just being honest. Obviously, it's not like I'm trying to big you up. I'm just being honest. When you say something, you always say it like you've just said, right? If you have the facts to prove it, you will provide people with those facts. But if it's just your opinion, your take on the situation, and you're just providing your own aspect of what you
Yeah.
think, your own point of view. And if someone disagrees, that's up to them. But it's like when I see facts compared to opinions, you could have 10 people saying the exact same thing. That doesn't prove a single thing. I could say,
But they'll
oh,
all
this
say
guy's
it differently.
well, yeah, they could all say different things. One person could say one thing, one person could say another, and so on and so on and so on. All 10 people could say the same thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that either of them's right. Every person could be wrong.
Well, there's
I'm scared of echo
several
chambers.
people, well, quite
That's
a few people out there do videos like I do. There's
Mm.
one or two that do videos like Dan's. Now, you'll quite often report, all of you will report on a certain thing that's happened, like the Irish Prime Minister's resignation today. Now, yeah, I got a quick bit to say on that in the video tomorrow, I think it is, or did it? Might have been on
I don't
today.
keep up with the news. What happened?
The
Irish
Irish Prime Minister just popped up and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm fucking resigning."
Surprising, isn't it?
But you know, there's others that will go on deeper into it, go on and do a 20-minute video about it, where I just say, well, yeah, it's happened. This is my opinion on probably why it's happened. Right or wrong, that's my opinion. But I've given the news that it's happened. You know, you can't deny that. And my opinion is my own. You know, people don't have to listen to it, don't have to take it. But to me, it's like a book.
Yeah.
Now, Lothar reads a lot of books, and I know a lot of other people that read a lot of books. I don't read that much. But a book is really someone else's opinion on either an item or something that's happened, because it's usually written by one person, and that one person can only see through one pair of eyes.
Yeah.
So unless you want to sit down and read a dozen books on the same subject, as it were,
Mhm.
you're not going to see any other's opinions.
Correct.
Yeah, but there's one caveat to that. If you actually get a book, which is an opinion piece book, not obviously a work of fiction, but is written by someone, let's say, is a political activist or something, if it's not well referenced to what they have to say, and you can cross-reference all the references, but if you get a book where the references at the back of the index section like longer than what the person has to say, then you know you've got an awful lot of bloody reading to get on with.
Yeah.
It takes forever. And even then, they might be only taking the opinions of those people that they agree with to cross-reference and reinforce their opinions. It's called an echo chamber or confirmation bias.
That's one of the reasons I don't read much. I mean, yeah, I used to read fiction, but and I have read other stuff, but it does nothing for me, you know.
No.
But
Well, why would you want somebody else's opinion? You know you're right.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always right unless I'm wrong.
There's two very controversial books I can immediately think of. Now, one of these books was written by a bloke around about 80 years ago, 1930s. Do the maths, it might be a bit longer.
So,
and it's
nobody's going to ever have heard of them.
You're definitely not. I weren't born.
It's illegal to own this book in Germany. You won't be able to get it from a lending library or anything.
Mein Kampf.
Now, I thank you. I borrowed this book because I wasn't certainly going to spend money on it. I borrowed it and I read it in sections, and I just skipped through it because obviously I wasn't going to read it all. Now, I borrowed that from a lending library. That record will be on my account. So if, in years to come, when somebody comes to want to question me on my political opinion and call me a bigot or a racist, or, you know, that word that they like to throw around, well, everybody likes to throw around. It's an ad hominem attack. It doesn't matter. Name calling, you can call me names all you want. All I want to listen to is your argument, your reasoned argument. And if you convince me I'm wrong, I might be willing to change your mind. But what upsets me and what concerns me is that it's likely that Sheffield City Libraries, and by extension the British government, know that I rented that book. Now, there's also another controversial book Apparently, it was
Yeah, we
dictated.
don't want to go too far into books.
It was
No,
dictated to an illiterate Arabian warlord around about 1400 years ago, and apparently there's about 5 of these copies of these books. So even that book has got variations on a theme. So basically, you can't agree on what. And the next thing is this: if you've got something in digital form on the cloud, what's to stop somebody going in and altering the passages or the words or the meanings of that book? Now, if you look at Simon Webb, history, I know I've quite a few people in the chat, and you guys on the panel might know it. History Debunked, Simon Webb goes into this a lot. He collects books, and I know people actually collect books because they're frightened that the books will be rewritten.
Well, all you got to do is ask an AI to write a book following a similar storyline to a titled book, and it'll write it all out for you and change everything.
And it's so easy to do.
I don't like being lied to. I just don't like being lied to, and I don't like it when people move the goalposts, change the parameters or the descriptions of words. There's certain words that you can't use anymore because they've got negative connotations. Like
this is what we say about them trying to rewrite history.
Certain words have different meanings for different contexts. Like a bundle of sticks, it begins with a letter F. You can't say that anymore. Because another group have claimed identity and ownership of that word. There's another word that you can't say, begins with N, although the only people that can say it are actually rap artists and things like that. If I was to say that word, I'd be arrested. So basically, words have ownership and meaning. And if you can change the meaning of words, you can only say that certain people can use certain words, then I find that really, really, really rather concerning.
Well, I've had that opinion. What the second phrase, the second word, or I know what you're on about, but I've always been against the use of that word by anyone, right? I hear it a lot, and I know there's a ton of other words.
You think about this, Jack?
Yeah,
calling us honkies is absolutely fine.
No, it's not.
According to them, it is.
According to Laura, it is.
Yeah, well, it's one rule for one rule for everyone else.
Yeah.
Exactly. The N word is a term of endearment between a lot of people. They will literally walk into a room and say, yo.
Yeah.
You see, there are two different ways of saying that, though. But the thing is, either way of saying the N word is still just as bad with the ER at the end or with the A. So as what I hear all the time, the hard R, that's the more the racist term as opposed to the one with the A at the end. That one's supposed to be used towards each other. I don't know if it's instead of saying like bro, say my fill in the blank. They would say that instead. It's like a friendly thing in their their group.
Moose put in the chat, what is a honky tonk? That's a white man in his little tank.
But the other word is just purely racist.
Honky tonk blues, or is that cultural appropriation?
I don't know where you go with that one.
Cultural appropriation.
Good evening, Russell.
One of the songs I used to sing was Honky Tonk Woman.
Oh yeah, because you started.
Sorry, Jack, you were saying something.
I'm not British. I'm English. There's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely, there is.
You're not allowed to be English on forms. You are from the UK.
Yeah.
So, Gary, I'm going to have to disagree with that. I don't speak the Queen's English, although I did like the Queen a hell of a lot more than I do like the King, but that's just my opinion. Because I mean, I don't really get into the whole monarchy and stuff. I just don't care about it.
It's just another thing I was going to bring up today. All this bollocks about this jiggered about with photograph. Now, is there anybody out there that doesn't have the facility that has the facility to do it, that hasn't enhanced a photograph they took? You know, I mean, I do.
What edited a photograph?
Well, not edit as such, but enhanced it. you know, maybe take something out, put something in,
Make sure everybody's smiling. like the new
make sure
cameras.
everybody's smiling. In some cases, making sure everybody's in the photograph.
Copy and paste from one.
I
And
mean, yeah,
overlay
there's
it.
such a fucking hoo-ha over it. You know, to me, I'm not a royalist. I don't follow them, as you know. To me, they're a non-entity.
Mhm.
But if someone wanted to put out the best family photograph they can to make it look nice, they're going to have it played with. They're going to play with it. You know, even if it's just changing the lighting or, you know, something that shouldn't
Bit
be
of a
there or out of
filter.
place. I think it's just media hype. Oh, you know, because they did something, they're hiding something.
The thing is, a lot of people read too much into things. They think that there's always there's something outside the box.
Yeah.
That sorry, they think this. Yeah, that's right. They think there's something outside the box that they need to search for. That's not always the case.
Well, you think,
Um,
what was his name? Was it Snowden who was the royal photographer?
Yeah,
Do they think he never fucked around with any pictures?
it
Of
probably
course.
did.
Because
Yeah.
he's going to want the pictures to look the best they can. You know, now all of a sudden it's an issue.
I just have to say as well. I just wanted to point something out, something in the comments, right? Although it's not directed at me. I've growing up and seeing this country change in a bad way, not for the good of the society, of our society, right? A lot of people, including my family, don't what's the word? Not identify. Is it identify? We don't yeah, that's okay, I'll just use that. We don't identify as British individuals anymore because the British part of this country is gone, right? In my opinion. Because of all of the is it the wokery? Is that even a word?
Yeah.
Everything
Correctness, yeah.
everything that's gone on in this country that has made this country 1,000 times worse than it was. The NHS is crumbling. The police service. Well, I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, they're a police force with the way that they
just
manhandle themselves on people. The police force all around the country, not just in London. They handle people, you know, disrespectfully. You know, they throw people to the floor, kick people, punch people. You know,
yeah, they've just gone rogue. The bullies.
yeah.
They're drunk on power.
Now, I don't. I have heard of this recently, but I'm not sure if this is actually going to become a thing, or if it's just something in a specific force as opposed to London, so like the Metropolitan Police Service or City of London Police. But I'm not sure what force it was, but I heard at the force there was going to possibly bring in for all constables or for all officers to be firearms trained. I'm not sure.
They wouldn't get that because most of them wouldn't pass the psych test, even though it's basic.
Right.
The actual psych, not sight, the psych test. Most of them wouldn't pass it.
And I'll be honest, I could see the government doing something like that, where they I mean, considering of what they've done already with all different aspects of the country, all different areas of expertise, I could possibly see that. I mean, like you mentioned a while back about the police force that we have now is like a military.
Yeah, they are. They're a paramilitary arm of the government.
Yeah.
They've been that way for ages, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell's put there the extent of the conspiracy theories is amazing. Now, as I've always said, Russell, the only reason that conspiracy theories start to pop up is because people aren't told the truth about something. They'll make their own mind up what it is or give an opinion on it, and straight away that's a conspiracy theory. So all these conspiracy theories around all government happenings, government doings are literally there because they're not transparent and they're not telling the people exactly what's happening and what they're doing about it. So therefore conspiracies start and then they moan about them. where they're
Yeah.
the ones that are actually causing them.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't have to say, oh, allegedly they've done this, if they'd openly admitted that they'd done it.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest example I can give of that
Mhm.
is look at the COVID inquiry.
Yeah.
What was said there, it was made public. They brought it all out in public.
Mhm.
But everything they said there, back in lockdown, etc., was, according to them, a conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
They created
But it
them all
was,
themselves.
yeah.
And they let it happen because the conspiracy theories breed fear in certain people. So they were using it as another tool to spread fear of stuff.
Yeah.
Like they weren't being honest about a certain intervention.
Mhm.
Those that were just blindly following went along with it all. Those that stepped back and thought about it and looked into it, looked at what it could do, what it can't do,
Well, we still can't talk about it.
denied it, but that was a conspiracy theory according to them. But now it looks like we were mostly right about certain things. You know, it's,
But you still can't talk about it.
I mean, there was an interesting documentary on it. It was a little while back. It was on,
Mhm.
I think it was PBS America, something like that. One of the lower Freeview channels. Good evening, Darren. And it was called How to Use Propaganda in War. Now, it was split into two parts because it was, I think it was either a 4 or 5 hour documentary. And some of the things they were coming up with in there, how they use propaganda, how they use, as Brian was saying earlier in the chat there, deflections, hiding stuff. It covered the whole of it. And I'll tell you what, it was very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
I think it was called, I don't know whether it's on Catch Up anywhere. It's called How to Use Conspiracies in Propaganda in War or something like
Yeah.
that. And it went right back through the history of different wars and how propaganda was spread, you know, back when there was no media or anything like that. Obviously, it was spread by word of mouth, but it was still happening hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
They've just perfected it. Yeah, a lot of it could be classed as a psyop, Gary. Absolutely. I mean, oh God, what's that? Lockheed Martin's involvement in the census that time, which I still believe they are. If anybody thinks that someone from a company like that is going to give a country or lend a company the hardware, the computers, the programs to put all that information together without taking a copy for themselves, they need to get their heads out their asses, because that's exactly what that was for. And that's
Yeah.
exactly why they did it.
I've just got back from corner shop. 40 quid for a 50-gram pack of unbelief. It was 26 quid a couple of years ago. What's going on there?
There you go. There's another reason why I'm giving up.
Bloody hell. Mrs. is going on holiday again. She's trying to get a last minute deal over Easter holidays. I hope she comes back with some duty free, if you know what I mean. Bloody hell. Oh yeah,
Yes, Brian, that one is bang on, mate.
What you were saying about propaganda then? It's accepted fact that there were the people in the what was it called, the way that they actually invented the nuclear bomb, the Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Manhattan Project. That's it. Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer. It's accepted as fact now. This information has actually been released, although the names have been actually redacted or withheld. That they're actually communist spies within the Manhattan Project when they were actually developing the bomb. And that's how the Russians managed to get hold of the technology for the atomic bomb. So even back in the day, there was people, deep state actors inseminated in. There's somebody I used to follow. I still follow him just because I get silly. I do daft stuff with him. He's still convinced that everything's Russian and Chinese bots. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'd like to say it, but it falls on deaf ears. Don't you think the Americans and the British have got bots as well? Don't you think it goes?
Of course they have. Of course they have, but they're not going to say it because they're going to blame everybody else for it.
Mm.
You know, some of the Hackett, oh, that was a Chinese company. That could have quite easily have been an American, an English one. You know, you've got people that can develop that in all of the big countries.
Yeah.
You know, okay, yeah, some of the third world countries, it might be a bit difficult, but even some of those, you don't know what their experts are capable of. I mean, India can put fucking spaceships in space and on the moon and
They
what
can't
have you.
make the people fed.
India's
But
got a
they
space
can't
program,
feed
but we're
people,
still
you know.
sending them foreign aid. Get that in
Yeah.
your much. India's got a space program. We don't, but we're still sending India foreign aid.
Yeah.
Can somebody explain that to me, please?
They can't get water to half their people, yet they can put a spaceship on the fucking moon.
I'm still looking
Yeah.
for an answer to that one myself, Lothar.
What about that Rishi Sunak when he was asked about his wife still having active business interests in Russia? And he says,
Oh, they all
I have no idea what my wife, it's nothing to do with me, my
Huh.
wife's business interests. So I said, well, so, Mr. Sunak, a former Wall Street banker who was parachuted into one of the safest Tory seats in the United Kingdom with a massive majority, was within 9 years of being elected an MP, becomes a prime minister, and you weren't even elected, and you replaced somebody that wasn't even elected, and now you're telling me that you don't know about your wife's business dealings in Russia. Well, the thing is, remember when the new current thing kicked off, Roman Abramovich had to sell Chelsea. So if Roman Abramovich has to sell Chelsea, and we're putting all these sanctions on Russia, I've heard that the Russian equivalent to McDonald's is doing absolutely fantastic because they don't have to send 5 or 10% to the corporation, which is called McDonald's. All they've done is other businesses have moved in, same premises, same machines, got the same recipes, they're knocking it out, but they're not paying tax to a multinational corporation. Can somebody explain to me how that makes sense?
Moo, the internet was invented by a guy who wanted to make money out of curing viruses that they were going to invent to put on them later. When you look at it from that point of view.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
when you got to look at Bill Gates, you know.
Yeah, we're talking about viruses. I think genetic viruses might be appropriate. Stuart said, weren't carrots originally a different colour? Yes, indeed they were. Carrots were a different colour originally. And all of the green leaf vegetables that you get at one point were actually originally bred from Brassica something or other, which was the common or original cabbage. So lots of these variations, even the thing that you don't eat at Christmas, and all people either buy it at eat at Christmas and they don't even bloody eat it, that is a genetic modification or a selectively bred form of cabbage.
Well, it's like I said, you got all these vegans, we got to grow our stuff organically. Well, what are you going to fucking put on there as manure once you've killed all the fucking cows?
Where do I get all this shit from?
Exactly.
Where do I get all this shit from? The missus thinks that little lad might be autistic. Now, my nephew's autistic, functionally autistic. My brother is very eccentric, and I've started looking at my own sort of behaviour recently, and I'm thinking I might be as mad as a box of frogs, but at my age, it was never diagnosed.
There's no might about it. What's up with you?
You know, when I leave the house in the morning, I have to do an hyacinth bouquet. I've actually driven for about 2 or 3 miles, and I thought, damn, do a 180, go back, check the door to my lock-up's locked, jump back in the vehicle, go to work, think, damn, I forgot that epoxy immersion spanner. Do a 180. I can remember all these crappy, stupid facts, but I can't get myself sorted out and organised on a daily basis. Dementia? It might be dementia. I'll plead dementia. When they come and get me, I'll plead dementia. I'll put a frock and a wig on and say, you should come to check me thinking. I'm demented. And by the way, call me Loretta because I want to have babies.
Well,
I've not had any beer yet, honest.
There's evidence of that, Lothar, on previous lives. Because you have asked us all to call you Loretta. So if you ever rely on that as a defence, it's out there on YouTube.
Love it.
Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at something on here.
Brassica ulcerosa, the common cabbage. I'm going to mute myself for 5 minutes because I think I need to drink more herbal tea. I've had with
All right, mate. Someone just no, that's all right, Jack. It's that was
Okay.
only town and area. I've quite often,
All
you
right.
know, made no bones about the fact that I live in the West Midlands in Sutton Coldfield. So
Okay. It's just that it nowadays it is so easy for you to get doxxed, and the thing is,
yeah,
this is the crazy. I was going to mention it earlier, but we kind of went on to a different subject, so I didn't want to bring it up, kind of in the middle of another topic. But it's so easy to dox people nowadays, and there's actually a website out there that that is apparently illegal. It's apparently illegal. It's a website that is legal because you need to, like, everyone's information that gets posted on there needs to be over 18, but they circumvent that by putting a fake age so they can actually post it.
well,
But
you don't even have to do that. All you got to do is
no,
go on some of these drama streams, and
yeah.
apparently they're doxing each other left, right, and fucking centre. So good
The
luck.
thing
to
is, now,
right, Steve?
People dox themselves.
Yeah, if people want to dox themselves and it gets them in the shit, that's up to them, isn't it? Yeah.
so I always thought that doxing was illegal, right? But doxing only seems to be illegal if it leads to harassment or threats. But if you're just putting someone's information out on the internet and there's no harassment or threats, then apparently it's not illegal, which I think is still wrong because you're putting out someone's personal information on the internet. But
a little while back, just for a giggle, I googled my name to see what would come up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it came up with my name and address that was 15 years old, I think it was. It was just a little flat that I rented in Bristol years ago for a year, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can find on the internet anyway that hasn't been put out there to dox people. It's just out there in public if you know where to look.
Yeah, it's like these cold callers. You get the scammers and that. They know your name. They've got your phone number. And that's all you need to find out something about somebody.
I always tend to play around with the scammers when they ring. I love doing that because it wastes their time, right? As long as if I can waste maybe 5 minutes of their time as opposed to them scamming an elderly person, I would do it any day.
If it's an obvious scam, I just tell them to go fuck themselves and hang up.
There are times though where I just won't feel. It's like my mum answers the phone. If she's not feeling very well on a particular day, she just won't even bother. She'll just end the call.
Funny enough, that one.
Yeah.
Now that is well over 10 years old.
Yeah.
Now, because I don't connect it to the internet other than to do an upgrade once a year, or when I go in the Vodafone shop, I get them to do it for me. That doesn't get put on the internet. It doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi. I use it for texts and calls, bit of filming if I need to. Now, in all them years, I think I've had one cold call on that one. This one is permanently connected to Wi-Fi because it's the one dedicated for the channel. Anything to do with the channel comes through this one. The WhatsApp's on it. That one used to be clear of them because obviously it's pay-as-you-go SIM. But I've had two in the last week for some reason on that one now. Both of them have been told to fuck off. Heather suffers badly from it because she was with Virgin, who now is owned by O2, the mobile service. So, of course, the scammers have got that list somewhere of Virgin customers. So the scam calls now are trying to get a pass number to get into your O2 account.
Yeah, I know because I had it myself, and so did my mum. And the reason why I knew it was very easy to say was because when they send a text for your phone and they try and I don't know it's the word they use, but they try and say it's a code or whatever they say, and as soon as I see it, and there'll always be a warning message at the bottom, stating what it is for, right? And I'm like, no, don't even bother. Just
No.
end the call, or me and mom just mess about. We say, why are you trying to scam people? You know, this and that. We've had scammers like be all sexual on the calls, which is it's crazy,
Oh.
honestly.
That, I mean,
Do
whether
you know
they're
what? Once
What?
go on, Steve.
I was at. Oh, thanks, Rog. Hi, everyone. I had a piano, like a musical a Casio keyboard in front of me, and you can do effects on it, like applause. And I had
Yeah.
a scammer calling through, and as soon as I realised they were a scammer, I played the applause and congratulated him that he was the 1 millionth caller.
Well, do you know what, Steve? You've just put me onto something there, because I packed. You remember that little sound card I had with the voice changer and thing on it?
Oh, yeah, I certainly do.
The sound effects. Now, I managed to connect that to a phone, no problem, to get it working. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this now.
You don't get hoax calls. It's me.
No, as she said, I don't get hoax calls, but I've had 2 in the last week on there.
Oh, you won't get another for 6 months.
So I'm thinking of having that, because I very rarely answer calls on there. I very, very, very rarely get them, and I certainly don't make them because it's, pay as you go. It's just for Wi-Fi use. But now saying that, if I bring that box down and plug it in and one does ring, I can certainly have a bit of fun with it.
Thank you for phoning the National Health Hotline.
Do you ever get the impression that what we call the West is actually like a global target for especially people? Well, got to say this carefully, but Indian scammers and that. They just look upon us as a big bank of people who just think that way and are so gullible.
Well, this is what I do watch 1 or 2 videos now and again of these so-called hackers that are actually destroying some of these scam centers with viruses and shit.
Yeah.
Whether they're all genuine or not, I don't know. But some of them do come across as being very genuine. The videos,
Yeah.
Yeah, Paulette,
Yeah.
you can on certain networks, you can register your number, and any of these scam calls and numbers that people are constantly reporting and blocking, they will automatically block them. But I believe you have to pay for the service.
I know what we're talking about. When you're having a conversation and with your missus about something or other, and you're coming into your lockup and you log on and you see adverts of things that you've been talking about, and that's insidious. I'm crap with tech, as everybody bloody well knows. I've just sent in a text to one of my landlords that I do work for. He's had problems with rats infestation around his bins. So I've had to actually set some rat traps and some running tunnels with bait sachets and stuff. He's concerned that they might be getting into his property now. He's had them in before. It's because the tenants are leaving. There's just rats, absolutely. But has everybody noticed that? I have, certainly. No, there's rats everywhere. There's an absolute profusion of rat breeding all over the place. Now, I'm actually typing into this predictive text. He's asking about, do you think they're in the house? And they're not in the house. They're outside the house. Now, I've said, they are everywhere. Blink and you will miss it. Predictive text?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You put in the first 3 letters and it suggests something. At least 50% of the time that I take now I wanted to say bins out. At least 50% that I take the word begins with the letter V for Volvo or Victor, if you want to use phonetic alphabet. What do you think? I've got 3 options. At least 50% of the time that I take the time, day, or a word beginning with V. V. What words beginning with V have been told that we? And I can't remember ever using that word in a conversation with anybody when I'm sending them a text message. No, that's insidious. Even
Are you saying vagina, Lothar?
Sorry, it's
You're saying V. Vagina? Is it vagina?
V A. Let's have a look. Let's see this out. Do this phonetically. Oh damn! The bloody phone's timed out again.
Vanessa's vagina.
Here we go. Victor Alpha, Charlie Charlie, India, November, Echo.
Oh, vagina.
Suggesting that I use.
Weird.
B-I, bike, big, buy.
It's
no,
the Britney Spears concert.
bingo binder. Was a chest binder. Every time I take the bins out. Now, there we go. That is why is it suggesting that I use the word that I've just actually spelled phonetically for obvious reasons? I can't
Well,
It
remember.
hates you, no, it hates
My
you.
question would be, why the hell are you using predictive text?
I don't know. It's automatically pre-programmed into this phone that I've still not figured out how to bloody well use.
Well, it says when you're texting, you can go in the settings and just turn off predictive text.
Oh,
Yeah.
You could try that, Loafer. There's an idea.
Do you remember?
No, for what if you knew how to do it?
I figured it out.
I figured out to turn off emergency alerts around about a year ago. You remember that story?
Yeah, well, this is another one I was going to cover in a video. Now, they spent millions setting this emergency alert system up.
Hmm.
They sent out a couple of tests. Has anybody heard anything else about it in the last year or two? I haven't.
Nope.
Well, no, we haven't had an emergency.
Well, apparently we have. Heat waves, floods.
They weren't emergency.
No, but that's the sort of thing they said it was going to be for.
Some people.
No, what I call them emergencies when someone goes down to the pub and they have a meal that's anything less than a Scotch egg.
When Dan and that when you and Dan spoke about it around that time, I already had it disabled because what you and Dan mentioned was that they actually installed before this happened. They actually installed an app that you couldn't uninstall.
Yeah,
it was force installed before this, which forced the alert. But if you disabled it in the settings, which everyone can do if they have I'm not sure about iPhones, but I know Samsungs. I'm not sure about iPhones. I don't use them, but Samsungs, you can definitely disable them. I mean, if you're on an older version, if you're on an older Samsung or just an older Android in general that maybe doesn't have that feature, then you don't need to worry about it.
I didn't have to change any settings on mine, and I
I
didn't
just
get any
turned
of them.
4G off.
Just turned 4G off, as Heather said.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Because I'm on the low tariff on the Vodafone, that's dropped me down to 2 and 3G anyway, because they've turning 4G off and going over to 5. But they've still maintained the 2 and 3G at the moment. Well, that's all I need, because all I make is telephone calls and send texts on it, so it doesn't affect me.
well, 5G around this area is crap. The signal is terrible.
I wouldn't even use it, mate. Wouldn't even use it, mate.
Yeah, I only ever use it whenever I'm out and about and I need to use my phone. That's the only time I'll ever use it. I'll always use Wi-Fi whenever I'm at home because.
Sorry, Jack.
No, go on.
Because you know what I'm like. If I read something and I forget it, then I won't answer it. Moo. Because I don't know how far long Dan's going to be away, I may well do a short stream on a Sunday evening if he's not doing one, just so everybody's got somewhere to come and say hi. Maybe just for an hour or so, but we'll see how it goes, because at the moment we don't know what's happening with him until I get updates. So that will be discussed nearer the time. The other thing is, I should have enough hours to run one on a Sunday as well at the moment.
I could do one.
You could open one. Yeah, that's an idea.
Wish your noise, woman.
Well, she's already thinking of now she's got some subscribers, YouTube famous. She's thinking about doing a stream sort of female based, as it were, anyway, although the guys would still be welcome.
Oh, I reckon.
But again, she's got to sit and think about and talk to the girls about what topics they'd like to talk about. And
periods.
Oh no! We don't.
Oh, please don't go into that conversation. Please don't fill my brain with.
We don't want them all sinking up, as it were.
They'll talk about it when they get together. You can be sure. Periods.
Particular conversation. I don't think.
Jenny, I'll catch up with you over the weekend on Facebook anyway, no doubt. So take care.
Menstrual this, menstrual that.
I
Take
keep
care,
saying
Jenna.
fucking Friday, you know. I forget there's another 2 days before the weekend now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
what was I
it
gonna
does
say?
fuck you up. I'll finish tonight on air, and I'll be thinking it's Friday. So tomorrow I'll wake up and think it's fucking Saturday. You know, oh no videos today, and then it was, oh no, it's Friday. Oh no, I got to get another video sorted. Where's my
Ah,
notes on?
that was it. I was going to ask something and I forgot, and I've just remembered. Right. Do any of you have any signs outside your house that basically says no cold callers?
No.
No, I did have one.
Right.
What was it? No hawkers. No religions. No
Yeah.
cold callers. As being told to fuck off might offend you. I think that was the last.
I love that sign.
It was something like that. I wrote it out
Well,
and had it printed up and stuck
we
on
need
my door.
another one because you keep sending people away in tears.
There was two young girls. Both sounded like they were of Asian descent, I might add.
Mhm.
Now, we've got quite a high step when you stood inside to the people outside. There's like a step down out of the door and then another
True.
step down onto the
Yeah.
slabs. So these two, they look like midgets to me, stood there. Oh, we're from Only Fresh, I think it was. And I'm like looking at them, I'm like, what the fuck? This is dark, like it's 8 o'clock at fucking night. I mean,
Dark,
you're on my
alright.
doorstep selling me trying to sell me fucking vegetables, like. I'm just like, oh no, and I just shut the door. I couldn't do anything else. I was going to go into the vegan slagging and shit like that, but I don't know. I'll be polite. I'll just slam the door on them.
Well, the reason why I brought it up is because we have been getting quite a few more cold callers recently, and for several years now we've had, because my mum's disabled, we have a little sticker or a sign on the door that says, if you are making a delivery, please be patient. If you're making a sale, please don't bother. Right?
Yeah.
So it's simple, and they physically can see it. So there's no argument that you can't, right? And what I'm a bit confused about, and I'm not sure whether or not if it is still cold calling, is so someone the other day, they happen to also be of Indian descent, funny enough. They knocked on our door. Well, in fact, they rang the doorbell, but because whoever wouldn't answer quick enough, bearing in mind it does state on the sign, I'm disabled, or if
The
you're
thing is,
making,
you've got to be very, very careful putting those sort of signs on your door, Jack.
yeah, I know, because then that could
Literally, you're advertising the fact that there's an old person in the house. So if someone
Yeah, I
wants to
know.
break in, they're probably not going to be able to react. That can be dangerous in certain circumstances.
Yeah,
It might make you a target.
yeah.
But,
No, I
you
get
know,
what
as
you're
far
saying.
as I knew, the government were going to make cold calling on the telephones illegal, but obviously not. Roger,
Well,
good
this
evening.
is what I was a bit confused about, because I know that, and I've looked it up already, because I always thought it was wrong, right? But leaflets, distributing leaflets, right? So going to someone's door, posting it for the letterbox is completely fine, right? From what I've looked up. Now, if you knock on the person's door or ring the doorbell when they've got a sign which clearly states no cold calling or something to that thinger, and then they decide to post it through after. So if you answer the door, but they've already posted it through. Now, I don't know if it is still cold call or not, but if their intention was to make a sale by whatever was on the leaflet, and because you didn't answer the door quick enough, they then posted it, and then you've managed to catch them as they've gone to leave the gate or whatever, like, I don't know if you have a gate or whatever.
There's nothing in the law that says they can't put flyers through your door.
or knock the door. It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
But if you've got a sign,
Doesn't
It's
matter.
not legal.
Doesn't matter, mate. Doesn't matter if you got a sign there or
It's a
not.
request you
It's-
are making.
Yeah.
It's up to that.
Hmm.
It's like beware of the dog. It's up to you if you want to come in, but beware of the dog.
The way I act with some of them, they'd be lucky if we had a dog. I do tend to rip into some of them, especially if it's something ridiculous. I mean, that's how I got my warning in Cornwall for allegedly kidnapping these Jehovah's Witnesses that knocked on the door.
Allegedly
what would you,
kidnapping
would
some
you-
Jehovah's
what would you
Witnesses. There's a
consider-
joke in there somewhere.
I've got to admit, the police were pissing themselves when they came round to give me a warning. They were actually embarrassed about doing it, one of them said, because it was so funny. But it made the local press and everything. Yeah, a local guy kidnaps Jehovah's Witnesses after they pester him with religion. Yeah, that was funny. I dined out for months on that one. Oh dear. Where's Signs Entrance? Hang on, I'm just trying to read some of the comments here.
I
Some
had
of
an
them,
idea, Roger. Could I just squeeze one in quickly?
it's better than squeezing one out, I suppose. Yeah, go on.
Do that in a minute. I'm thinking in these days of doom and gloom, maybe that anytime you have to speak to anyone official, make the opening of your conversation one of those blues, like 1910, 1920s blues artists. So when they say, "Good morning, this is the council. How can I help you?" You go, "Smokestack lightning," and then you proceed with your business in a very orderly and citizen way.
When I used to get the cold calls years ago when we had landlines, because we used to get them on there, it was easy back then. You only had 3 numbers. I used to just sit there and everything they asked or said, I'd just say, yes, yes, yes. Yeah. And eventually they just used to give up.
Yeah. I had an AI bot on the phone about 2 years ago, and I only realised like shortly into the conversation. And I said, "Are you an AI bot?" And they said, "I am your assistant today." "Yeah, but are you an AI bot?" "I am your assistant today." I was like, "My wife left me, my dog God started smoking."
Oh, that was
I was
it.
on
Not really,
an
but-
online help thing where you were typing to it, and it just was not answering my question. I thought, I've got a politician here. But I actually asked the question, "Are you a bot?" And it said yes.
yeah, with
it
those help,
Could have been a person lying.
with those help things. I don't know. You know, like those chat things. Like, yeah. I instead of just skirting around it, instead of speaking to the bot, I just ask, "Can I speak to a representative?" Because I get through to someone.
I was just going to say that, Jack. Now I can't remember who it was. It might even have been Vodafone when I was trying to get through to them to speak to an advisor. You had the AI or the bot was,
Mhm.
who do you want to speak to? What do you want to speak about? Put your number in now. This, that, and the other. Now, I'd been told that all you had to do for the first 3 questions was speak to human being. That was all you answered for the first 3 questions. And on the 4th question, please wait for a representative. It automatically put you through to a switchboard. But I'm buggered if I can remember what system it was. I think it was Vodafone. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But it did actually work. And you got to, I mean, I actually got to email to a human being at YouTube. Most of the bigger channels have that service anyway, because they're in the partnership, they're in the monetized sector. So they get an advisor and an open helpline.
But if anybody's got a contact to Facebook, we could use them.
But somebody like me, you couldn't. All you got was replies from bots. So I pestered them that much that I actually started getting emails from a human being at YouTube. He didn't agree with anything I said, but at least I got to speak to the idiot, and I did post the emails.
It broke the system.
Facebook is an absolute fucking joke trying to speak to anybody on there. Absolute fucking joke.
It's the matter after all.
About 20 or 30, 40, 50
not the
years ago,
Meta-
they were
it's
talking about
Metaverse,
faceless corporations. Now you can't even get in
Yeah.
any contact with them.
Well, YouTube, I call them the faceless cowards, and I openly call them that in the videos. I always have done. I did have to retract one thing I said about them because I got the information wrong. But I made no bones about, retracting that bit of it. The rest of it still stood. That was over the some of the analytics and shit like that. Over
There's
how
such thing as an honest mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought when you had likes removed and shit like that, I thought it was because they were being arseholes. And that was how I learned what toxic views are, where you've got to watch so much of the video before that like is accepted. It's accepted at the time when somebody presses it. But then when the analytics pick up that they haven't watched a certain percentage of the video, it gets removed. So I thought they were removing likes willy-nilly. Well, they probably are. But
Yeah.
that wasn't the issue. I knew then that I'd made I hadn't made a mistake, but I'd said it wrong. Like, they are always removing them for no reason. Well, there is a reason, and if you look in the rules, it is in there.
That's
So-
the views, Darren.
No, not the views. It's the likes. Likewise, as Heather said, with the views, there is a toxic view. Whereas if you only watch, I think it's the first quarter or the first half, that view will go up, but then it will be retracted from the numbers by the analytics or the bots or whatever. And obviously, I'd accused them of doing this maliciously when it was the bots, and it's in the rules. So yeah, I had nothing other than to do to put my hand up and say I was wrong, because I was.
Do you know what I might have just realised as well? Now, I don't know if this is something that you guys have already realised about YouTube as well. So I could be a bit slow here, or I could be a bit fast. Who knows? A lot of people say they get a lot of issues when it comes to commenting, liking, maybe watching a video, or even on a live stream when they post a comment and it gets removed, and it's not the moderators that are removing the
it's
comments.
the bots.
Yeah.
You get the bots on live streams as well as on videos pick up on a word.
Mm.
It might be a banned word or a word that they consider shouldn't be used. It never picks up context. I've never seen a YouTube show about anything else. No, exactly, Russell. So it will remove it because it's on the bots list. So to remove that word, they've got to remove the whole comment. But when you run a channel, you can go through and you've got different avenues to look for comments.
Mhm.
Obviously, you've got ones I haven't responded to. If you're running a YouTube channel, you got one that's held for review. Some of them might be held for review and not showing on the channel because they've got a hurty word in there. Most of them, you'll get the opportunity to accept that comment, which will let it up on the channel and reply to it. But other times, although they've showed it view, they don't put the arrow up, the tick up to accept that comment. Some they just hide. You have to go through various stages and various areas of the comments to find them to be able to reply to them. That's why sometimes I reply late, is because it'll take me time to find them comments because they're actually hidden from me in the comments management section.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go look for them. There are some that the YouTube that don't like certain people.
I was just going to get onto that.
Past.
Yeah, I was just going to go onto
So
that. Yeah.
YouTube will remove their comments haphazardly more than anything.
Yeah.
Just to prove, look, we're still watching you. You know, and it goes on all the even some of the what I would class normal channels like Funny Cats, Funny Animals, and shit like that. They'll even suffer from the same problem because some
probably not as much though. Although they will suffer, probably not as much. You did mention about if
somebody
YouTube
got something running in the background there, I can hear something bleeding over like a music or something.
There's a
not
plane
me.
here. I don't know if that's it.
Might have been.
I'll mute.
No, it weren't a plane. It sounded more like music.
Not me. I'm just rolling a ciggy.
All right, Gary, no worries, mate.
I don't know what's going on in the background. All I was just going to say was, although it is happening to people that don't deserve it, it's probably not happening nearly as much because their content probably or more than likely fits the kind of the acceptance that YouTube likes or wants, whereas content like you or Dan, for example, are providing, which provide a good which provide a bad outlook on what's going on in today's society from different aspects or different areas of expertise, politicians, police, etc.,
This
etc.
is the way
They don't like it, and they're censoring you guys.
This is the way it's
you know
going
the
to
same?
go. With especially,
Do you know
with
the same thing?
Sorry, Steve.
Sorry, Roger. I was going to wait for you. I was.
No, what I was going to say, this is the way the censorship is coming down harder now, because Ofcom are starting to implement a lot of the new rules and a lot of the things that were in the online safety bill. Now, we've already seen the first prosecution now for cyber flashing. Contrary to the rumours that are going around, it wasn't Crinkle that got locked up for.
I used to call it flash photography in my day, but never mind.
I'm in trouble. I did that once to a last week. She said, "No, it's all right. I roll me on."
Yeah, that's all you're going to need a bigger lens. Yeah.
I opened my raincoat.
But now that shows that, and that was the prosecution was brought by the police, obviously, but it was Ofcom that triggered it all. Now we're going to see a lot more of that. Whether they're going to start looking at YouTube and platforms like that for it, I don't know. But at the moment, it looks like they're doing it only when it's targeting people rather than a whole channel, like porn bombers and that. But it will catch up with them eventually. And it will catch up quite a bit to people like myself and Dan. Anybody that is against the system, against the narrative, doesn't agree with the government, will be censored. And they're already doing that. They've got to control mainstream media to a certain extent, or quite a big extent. Not quite as bad as Russia and China do, but we have got a monitored and censored mainstream media, as we know.
It's like they shall know you by the fruit of your algorithm.
Exactly. And as I always said, the only thing that gets censored now is the truth. They do not like people talking truths. They want you to believe what they want to put out, not what you think about it. Anything that dissents will be banned eventually.
I wonder if in this day and age, after we've spent so much time looking at how things have become so much more totalitarian, that we can look not only at how things became totalitarian, but how did they ever get good again?
Well, this is the thing. I don't think it'll ever be fixed on social media or any form of internet conversations. It's that far down the route now. It doesn't matter who's in power. They will have the ability to censor people, and they will do it. Absolutely. They will not go back on it.
And then it's like the 90s seemed like another summer of love.
Oh
It's
man,
like everyone was free and able to do and say what they wanted to.
I'll be honest. Although I have found good on social media and the internet, and I was quite surprised how much good I did find, like getting in touch with old mates that I haven't heard from for 40, 50 years, getting in touch with family, and meeting new friends as well, like yourselves, because I class everybody in the community as a friend. It's just friends I haven't met yet. Now, that was a lot more difficult in my day because you had to find a phone box, have a number, have coins in your pocket to be able to talk to somebody, unless you were going to cycle 4 or 5 miles down the road to sit in the front garden and talk, or a pub or whatever. Yeah,
But back then, the cars, like Flintstone car.
Yeah, that side of society is now gone. That is gone from society. The actual thing of meeting up and talking to somebody face to face in person, that has been wheedled out of society. That is, they're like a minority group, you could call them now, the people that go to the pub to socialise. They've been trying to kill that idea for years. And I believe that they just don't want people communicating. I really don't. Yes, Moo, it was Shanks' bone. It didn't matter what the weather. You know, I remember on a Christmas day actually queuing outside a fucking phone box to ring certain members of the family to say Happy Christmas.
We phoned my nan by phoning the phone box opposite.
Yeah, I mean, people used to go and stand, as Heather said, people used to go and stand outside a phone box at a designated time so people could ring them. You know, home phones weren't a thing. Home landlines weren't a thing when I was a kid, when I was small.
If you were going out with a prospective partner, you had to phone their house, like as a sort of, an 18-year-old or even an early 20-year-old, and had to phone their house and speak to one of their parents first and say, hello, is Mavis in, please? And they're saying, no one here is called Mavis. Who are you?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's exactly the same as what you said there, Steve. Now, dating in my day, you had to physically go out and meet a person to get their phone number even. You know, unless you got a number off one of these little cards that certain types of lady used to poke in the little ledge in the phone box.
Well, back in those days, phone numbers.
Yeah.
Back in those days, phone numbers only existed of like 3 numbers and 4 decimal places.
Or it was a double date with your mate and their boyfriend or girlfriend's friend.
Yeah, but you could only have that if you had a party line.
Yeah, you go and meet.
That's where I recognise your voice, Rog.
You should be great. You should be able to drop in on neighbours' conversations and fucking all sorts. But yeah, dating was a lot different back then. Nowadays, people just turn on a computer. I want to meet a woman that looks like this age. And boom, there's thousands of them there. But to me, that's not looking for a date. That's just, well, I don't know what you'd call it. No, I'm not saying relationships haven't worked out well through stuff like that. I know someone who had a lot that didn't, but it seems now that he's got a very good relationship, and that came through the internet.
Yeah, but the last one was through the internet, and that looked like it was going to be a good one. And hey ho.
Oh, fucking. Do you know, I've got 3 lighters on the desk.
And none of them work.
Muha, I just noticed your chat. It's like you phone your mum on the Ouija board. Your nan on the Ouija board.
Smoke signals, mate.
I think she's been coming through to me as well. I wonder if you can make sure she's getting her number correct. I'm on 4422.
Mine would have trouble doing it because I've buried her face down because she said she was going to claw her way out the grave and haunt me. So I said she can keep digging.
Oh, happy days are here again.
It was like back in my day. If you wanted to ring somebody, you had to sweet talk the operator, otherwise she wouldn't put the plug in the right fucking hole to connect you. Like, you know.
And it were all fields.
I'll tell you what, Brian. I used to call it dialer shag when my mate used to tell me what it was all about. I said, "Oh, you use dialer shag." Basically, that's what it used to be. I mean, back in
A
my
carpet
day-
salesman.
You what, Steve?
Carpet salesman, dialer shag.
Yeah, yeah, but
That's one for loafer.
even back in the day, the carpets were more polite to your knees, shall I say, because they were all natural. They weren't nylon.
Is there a reason why they were called shag pile?
Exactly.
There he is.
I've got stuff to do, domestics and stuff, so I'll catch you folk later. Nice chatting.
All right, mate. Take it easy, love.
Take care, love.
Toodle pip.
Yeah, it's
You never liked him.
you know it's hard. Well, it's not hard to remember what life was like back then, but I was certainly a lot happier than I am today. Put it that way. You know, a lot of good things, as I said, have come from the computers, but I think eventually social media will consume itself. It'll get that bad that it will actually consume itself. And, you know, you've only got to look now that there are people that are giving it up, so I can't be bothered with it anymore. You know, you've got Chinese involved in TikTok. Obviously, they're watching videos, they're mining data, they're bound to be. This is
I
why
hope they
America
ban it in the UK, you
have
know.
a big stake in it.
Doesn't the
Uh,
whole thing seem to be that it's the organisation of people who like to stand back from the crowd, observe them, make ludicrous observations, and then decide that they're going to change society for the, in quotes, better,
Yeah.
as opposed to the people who are, you know, actually doing good.
Are you putting
I'm not
the
saying I'm
kettle
one of
on,
them,
mate?
but there are people doing good.
Yeah, I'd love a coffee while you're there.
Our stickers on one, Mrs. W.
Well, I was going to have another Coke, but I'm trying to cut down a bit on the fizzy drinks as well now.
Plus, it does your septum in.
Russell, no, that I'm not enjoying getting old, but we're very fortunate to have been young when we were. Exactly, mate. But what I see happening now compared to what it was like back in the day, that's the bit that worries me. You know, I've seen the change in kids. I've seen the change in their attitudes. I've seen a lot of changes in adults with their attitudes and the way they go about things. And I think the more and more that we rely on technology, like computers and stuff like that, the quicker and the harder we're going to fall when it all breaks down.
Yeah.
Because it will be instant. People just will not know how to function without a computer. And that's the way I think it will end up. Maybe not in my lifetime, but certainly it's going to go tits up and it's all going to go down with a big bang.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right, Rog, because it's 2012 since I've been able to masturbate correctly. I mean, correctly. I mean, properly, you know.
How people lead their lives now. Literally now, a lot of people couldn't function if they didn't have a mobile phone or some form of internet connection. You know, and the only ones you don't see with a phone glued to their ear or earbuds in permanently are old folk wandering around the town. Everybody else is either speaking to somebody with a bloody headset or that, oh, look, this is what we're having for dinner. Oh, look, here's the bus. Yeah. I don't see the point in putting that stuff out there.
Yeah.
You know,
No word of a lie. There was a guy.
If somebody wanted to see what you were having for dinner, they came round and sat down and had fucking dinner with you. Didn't post pictures of it. You know?
I'm not even about that. I don't really think that doesn't even make sense why you would post it, but that's just people being weird, I guess.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, Jack. You don't come from a time
No,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't have a computer. To be
Even
able-
I think that's crazy, though. Even I think posting pictures on Facebook or of your dinner is crazy. I wouldn't even do that because it just doesn't make sense. You're just showing off. Oh, look at me! Look at what I made. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna have to cut my conversation short because I'm gonna head off, get
All
myself
right,
some
Jack,
food,
no worries,
and
mate.
then
Well,
go to
you've
bed.
only got about half hour left now.
Yeah.
On the time scale anyway, so.
All right,
Take
catch
it
you
easy,
later.
Jack.
Good to see you again.
Take
But
care.
if you do hear anything on any of the videos, Jack, that sounds abnormal in the audio, let us know again, and I'll
Of course.
try things around.
One of the chat if you want Jack to stay anyway. Just kidding. Nice one, man.
Take care.
Missy,
Bye.
you're saying about CB radios. Now, I gave one away a little while back that was out in the shed with an aerial, and I don't believe the bloke's used it ever since I gave it to him. So I'm going to ask for it back. But there's so many different systems out there. You've got to comply. I can still hear that rumbling in the background. It might be me.
I'll try muting Rog in case it's me.
No, it might be me, mate. No,
Are you hungry?
Yeah, it's yours,
You're
Steve.
not just hungry, are you, Rog?
No, not yet. Getting there, but yeah, I've been looking into getting another one, Missy, and there's several different systems out there, but I don't know which one is the more modern one. But usual range is only up to about 10 mile terrain permitting, unless you use amplifiers, which is illegal. But that again is certainly a good backup form of communication, but that's only going to come into its own if the balloon ever goes up. Shit. Let the picture you have for this channel. Is that your mobility scooter? Which one's that, Ivor? The bike. that was a few years ago. That was when I was still doing downhill mountain biking before the bypass and busting my shoulder up and having strokes and shit.
Do you know what, Rog? They say
the
downhill mountain
lawnmower.
biking.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the way to go. It's uphill mountain biking. That's the one that you really want to be going at.
Yeah, I could never do that part of it. No, it's all right. I just realised what I was on about now. The thumbnail I used for this stream with the lawn defence mower. Yeah, I'd like it to be, but it'd have to be fitted with a 4-cylinder engine in the back of it. To get the range of at least 100 miles, Missy, if you wanted to do it regularly, then you'd have to go to like 2 meters, something like that, the ham radio level. Thank you, Swinner. The one to talk about that actually is Tina. She's a registered ham radio user, and she could probably give you more advice. I did go on 2 meters many years ago, but if you didn't have a registered call sign, nobody would speak to you anyway. But you can get around the world with a CB radio, but as I said, it's hit and miss, atmospheric conditions, what power you're using.
And in the good old days, you used to wipe tellies out.
Yeah, oh God, I used to have all the kids in the estate back home. They'd all sit up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because even if they had their tellies off, I was putting out like 200 watt RM through my CB aerial with a burner and amplifier, and it used to bleed all over the local tellies and stereos. The actual speaker wire would pick it up and activate the speaker because the signals were that powerful with the RF coming off of it. And I had to tone that down a bit because all the parents were complaining. But that was back in the AM days. It was a totally different system to what they use now. But yes, it is, Missy. Yeah. Tina does do ham radio. But, you know, we used to use them back in the day, back in the illegal days, I should say. Everybody had one. Or anybody that was anybody had one. Used to play cat and mouse with BT and the police with them. And
Turned into pirate radio in the 80s, eh?
Well, there were several that used to do music and that all over the channels on the CB, but they were always tracked down and so turn it off. Yes, it is ham, Missy. Tina's quite big into it, and as I say, she'll know more about that than me. I was just one of the old CB boys that had them hidden under the dashboard of the car as it was, and it was easy to tell because by the aerials on the car, you could get what you called a hidden one, which was looked like a normal telescopic car aerial, but it had a little adjuster on the top to adjust the length of it to get the signal right.
Was ham short for something like home amateur radio?
Yeah, home amateur modulation, something like that. That's why it was called that. I can't remember the exact pronunciation of what it was. Obviously, CB was citizen band.
It's just amateur radio.
Yeah, everybody knew it as amateur radio, but
They don't stand for anything.
but they with the licensing on that, because of the power they use and the strength of the signals and the frequencies they use, you have to be a registered user and you're issued with a call sign and a number. I used to have a big TriStar either. I used to be able to go up or down, upper sideband, lower sideband, all over the bloody place. It had something like about 800 channels on the damn thing. But now Europe has got a different one to us. There's FM Europe and FM UK. So if you want one that's going to work in this country, there are the two. I did watch something earlier on. You've got to remember which frequencies to look for. But it's a lot more complicated now. Portsmouth to Southampton. Yeah. I mean, we used to go up on White Horse Hill in Berkshire, which was one of the highest points of the Berkshire Downs. And you quite often see guys up there with their little vans with bloody 30-foot dipole strapped to the bumper at the back, where they're sat there with a big sidebander talking to people in America and all over the continent. But those sort of days are long gone for CB radio, unfortunately.
Oh, ham was the initials of Hyman, Bob Almy, and Red Murray. Hyman, Almy, Murray, ham.
Oh, okay.
It's an amateur station, apparently.
So they were probably the first ones to set it up, bar Marconi.
Hey, Roger or Mrs. W, when you were talking on the ham radios and that back in the day when, I suppose it must have been like...
DCB,
Sorry,
not ham. They're very different.
Yeah, CB talk is very, very different to ham radio.
It sounds like you're doing it, and then you don't know who you're going to meet anywhere across the world. I'm wondering what you talk about.
Oh,
What do we talk about?
You know,
Like
it's like
movies.
Here, I
Life,
mean,
the universe, and everything.
42.
it was originally a big help for the truckers. It still is in a way. You know, if there's issues on the road and stuff like that. But obviously now, with the new laws and that, really you shouldn't be operating a mic because it's the same as running a mobile telephone in a truck or a car.
Mm.
Which is why they brought in activated mics.
Yeah.
There must have been a time when things went from being quite tribal, like you would never well they said even like in London, if you don't have to go too far back, like the 70s maybe, it's like international holiday making never really happened till the 70s around this part of the world, and God knows wherever else it's going to happen if it didn't happen here. And it was like people never saw much beyond their own town. Maybe they go to Margate a few times a year, but it's like,
I'll have you know, my gran holidayed in Switzerland.
well, I wasn't talking about the upper class.
She wasn't upper class.
I know, I'm just winding you up.
Yeah,
I know you hate to be called that for some reason.
Not how far you could get with the train, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, most people went by train or by car.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like all the seaside resorts and towns. If they didn't have the railway, they didn't function.
Mm. It'd be horse and cart until like the 40s, I suppose.
Well, funny enough, Newquay used to have a train station. I believe it's closed now. No, they used to get quite a lot of their visitors through that, and a lot of them were day trippers coming over from the other coast and Truro as well. The train station in Abingdon, where I was born, yes, there was a few foot passengers, but that was mainly freight, and it was mainly the MG cars because
Newquay
they
still
were all
has a
loaded
train
up there.
station and an airport.
Eh?
Newquay still has a train station and an airport.
It's still got the train. I know they're on about doing away with it, but but yeah, things are a lot different now. You know, personal transport. I mean, the biggest thing on the holidays was when they introduced holiday pay. Because literally back then you were lucky if you got a coast trip for a day down to the seaside, as they called it. And that was as far as people went. But they're trying to shut down air travel now. They're putting prices up. They're going to restrict on how many flights can go in and out of airports.
Mm.
And stuff like that, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
today they were on about it. I saw a headline there where I think one of them was actually reducing one payment by £1 or something, something to do with the fuel or whatever it was. I don't take any notice of it because we don't leave the country, or I don't anymore.
I never have.
Heather never has.
Well, not as far as the Channel Islands.
Go on, Mrs. W. You foreign explorer, you.
But yeah, you know, I travelled a little bit, but I can't see anywhere out there where I'd want to go now, if I'm honest.
Not now.
I really can't.
There's always, well, Calcutta, Beirut, Afghanistan.
I mean, there's some lovely little islands out there.
Sierra Leone.
What was the name of the place? It's one of the small islands of Africa where it's illegal to sleep in the same bed as a woman unless you're married. Now, to get over that for tourists, you could get married in the evening and divorced in the morning. You know, if it don't fit, she won't kiss it, she eats too much garlic, you can divorce it in the morning. And that's one way they got round it. How it will work legally, I don't know. But if you're on an island and you make your own laws,
If the marriage is only valid in that country.
all right, then, Missy, take care. I may put a stream up for an hour on Sunday. We'll see how I feel. But the next couple of weeks is going to be quite hectic for us because we've got the wedding being organised and stuff like that.
You've done everything you need to do till the
Yeah. Yeah. See how that pans out. But right, guys, that's 10-2. I am feeling a bit peckish now. So
you're lagging now.
I'm starting to lag. So I will say good night. Steve, thank you very much for dropping into the panel, mate.
Not at all a pleasure, Rod. Good to see you again. Nice one, Mrs. W. Take it easy, chat, everyone.
To the 17 that have subscribed this evening, I thank you very much. I now have 18 subscribers.
You what? Within 2 months, you'll probably end up with more than
Just
me.
just in case anybody missed it.
There's a link.
Before the end of the night.
More power to your elbow, Mrs. W.
Cheers, Brian. Thank you for dropping in, mate. Always welcome. Russell, good night. Moo, Ivor. Who else we got in here? Several have retired already. But yeah, these Wednesday streams, I think I'm going to continue them for a while. We'll see how we go with them. I don't think there's a lot of difference in the viewings, the number we get in. Not that I'm particularly bothered about it, but take care, everybody in the chat. Thank you for dropping in today. Sometimes it can be a bit lively tonight. Yeah, just easy discussions with the news and that. But I will announce probably in the video Friday, unless I decide to do it Friday, if I'm going to go live Sunday night or not. It depends on what information I get from Dan. But until then, as always, people, watch out for the video tomorrow. Absolutely.
Stay strong.
Stay strong.
Stay safe.
Stay free from the fear. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Respect, people.
Bless everyone.